City on the Edge of Battle, also known as Godzilla Part 2, is the second in a series of Godzilla films that are on Netflix. This is part 2 of a trilogy. The third film will be coming out in a few more months. The first film in this trilogy was called Planet of the Monsters, and this one is called City on the Edge of Battle. It's another Godzilla film produced by Toho Animation and also animated by Polygon Animation, who I believe partners with Netflix on this shit. So if you saw Part 1, Planet of the Monsters, then you know what happened. There is a crew of people who have been drifting about in space for 20,000 years after Godzilla attacked Earth and basically destroyed everything. They go back to Earth because they want to reclaim their planet, and at the end of the first film, they actually defeat Godzilla. But it turns out that was just a baby Godzilla. The real Godzilla is 984 feet tall. And so Part 2 picks up immediately where Planet of the Monsters left off, where Haruo, the commander of the new unit, I guess, and the rest of his friends and the rest of his soldiers have to try to band together to try to figure out a new plan. They have to try to regroup so that they can defeat Godzilla. Along the way, they discover a mysterious tribe that's been living on Earth all this time, and they also discover some new weapons and a new city that might actually hold the key to defeating Godzilla once and for all. Now, this film just got released on Netflix not too long ago, a few days ago, I believe it was, so I'm not going to do spoilers for this. I probably will do spoilers for the third and final film in this trilogy. For now, I'm going to respect the fact that not everybody has gotten to Godzilla Part 2, and I'm just going to judge the film based on what I saw without giving too much away. There's definitely a few things to like about the sequel. For one thing, I actually like how the main character was portrayed this time around. One of my complaints from the first film in this series, Planet of the Monsters, is that we didn't get enough of a connection to the characters. A lot of the characters felt very one-dimensional, very one-note, and a lot of them felt poorly developed, including the main character. This time around, Haruo, like, I am shitty with names. Everybody who knows me knows I'm shitty with names. That's why I didn't bother trying to pronounce names of the directors who directed this film or the writers. You guys know who you are. Haruo, the main guy, or at least the main character, the main commander of this unit, he actually is a lot more likable this time around. This guy has a certain pig-headed determination and earnestness to destroy Godzilla by any means necessary at any cost. And while in most other characters you might find that shit annoying or reckless or whatever, for him it's kind of a leadership tactic. They do a much better job in this film at fleshing his character out, at developing his relationships with the other characters, and also providing you plenty of reasons as to why people would want to follow him, why people would believe in his ability to lead this unit. They developed a relationship / romance between another character in these movies called Yuko. In the first movie, I'll be honest, I didn't really care about their little fling or their little romance or whatever. This film definitely puts a lot more attention to it. And you also get insight into her and you figure out why she cares and why she's willing to follow him into the depths of hell. Or, you know, whatever it is that Godzilla is calling Earth nowadays. This film is not necessarily setting itself up, though, like it's this big monster action movie. It definitely has a more serious side to it. It actually tries to implement a few themes into the story that you may or may not be on board with. Some of those themes involve religion and humanity and how they all tie together in the face of Armageddon. Some of them involve what does it mean to be human and what does it mean scoring a victory against Godzilla as human beings. A lot of this is explored through their discovery of this mysterious city during the course of the movie that they use as a base to plan another attack on Godzilla. And I definitely do appreciate the ambition when it comes to trying to build a fully fleshed story with fully fleshed out characters and fully fleshed out ideas and themes that don't all have to do with Godzilla destroying shit. Granted, Godzilla destroying shit is probably the main reason why we're all here, but still, I just like the fact that they did try to go in other directions. Just like the first film, the animation here is gorgeous. It's beautiful to look at. Very well done. CGI effects of Godzilla and the rest of the monsters on Earth have never looked better. They look even better than they did in the first one, weirdly enough. There actually is an exciting battle sequence at the end of this film that I actually had a really fun time watching. The last third of this movie will satisfy you if that's what you're looking for. I suppose one of my issues with this film, though, is that while I respect the passion that was involved and the insight to try to turn this story into something more than just a Godzilla story, I feel like this movie telegraphed its moves a little bit too much when it comes to that, though. I feel like there's a trilogy, there's a third film in the trilogy that's supposed to finish it off. And I feel like this film felt more like a setup film than it actually felt like a compelling film on its own. This movie spends way too much of its runtime trying to set things up, trying to hint at things, trying to tease at things that are gonna come. In particular, there are these two girls, and they're part of this tribe that worships some kind of egg. Anybody that knows Godzilla lore, or who knows anything about the history of Godzilla, and a certain pair of girls from the past, and a certain egg that was worshipped, yeah, you know exactly how the shit is going to turn out in the end. It really strains and struggles to hold your attention throughout the hour and 41-minute runtime. It doesn't really do a good job at holding your attention through the intriguing narrative that was set up. And this may seem like a nitpick, but I am a Godzilla fan. I did want a little bit more Godzilla in this movie. This is still the most omnipotent, ridiculously powerful Godzilla in the history of ever. Like I said in the beginning, this Godzilla is 984 feet tall. I mean, he makes the one in the live-action MonsterVerse look like a fucking floor mat. Don't get me wrong, he's awesome and he's badass when he shows up, but he really only shows up for the final third of this movie. Last 15 to 20 minutes, that's when you get your little bit of Godzilla action. If the finale had been as well executed and as exciting as the third act in the first film, maybe I wouldn't have had as big a problem with it, but unfortunately the third act in this film, it kind of falls flat, and as a result, it makes me look at the rest of the movie and go, damn, I wish there had been a little bit more Godzilla. This has gorgeous animation and a terrific fight towards the end, even if it doesn't deliver on the hype. It does a better job at giving you characters with believable motivations that you can actually get behind. But overall, the lack of Godzilla did hurt this movie in the end, and I feel like most of the film was a filler. It felt like a setup movie to the third film, and I was kind of disappointed with that overall. Godzilla Part 2 was definitely a somewhat enjoyable watch, but it wasn't that great. So I'm going to give it a slightly positive rating of Golden Age Man of Steel. I didn't enjoy it as much as I enjoyed the first one, but I definitely am still looking forward to the third part of this trilogy. Alright guys, so if you have seen Part 1 or Part 2, let me know which one is your favorite. Please like and subscribe to the Superfan Show, and as always, if you like what you see, tell me how you feel, and stay tuned to hear more from the Man of Steel. Peace!